In an interview with CBS for Face the Nation this weekend, Senator Ted Cruz, Republican Texas, faced an investigation by host Margaret Brennan for non-compliance with these principles included in the proposals he made for members of the Senate and the House Representatives to have a limited term of office. Cruz's plan would force the legislature to serve only 2 terms, but it is clear that he is running for a third, which will be on the ballot for 2024. It is not clear at this time which Democrats can choosing to challenge Cruz. Beto O'Rourke, a former congressman whose last fight was on the ballot, continued to follow Republican Texas Governor Greg Abbott in the U.S. midterm elections last year, but he lost again. O'Rourke has made the fight against gun violence a central part of his campaign. On CBS, Cruz backtracked, albeit in a no-nonsense speech, on whether to run for president. "You also introduced a bill to limit the 2-year term for the legislature," host Margaret Brennan asked Cruz. "Why don't you follow this pattern? You said you are running for the 3rd position." Cruz responded in part by complaining about the so-called socialists and swamp creatures. "Well, listen, I'm a strong advocate for the end of the season," he told CBS on Sunday. "I think that Congress will work better if each senator is limited to 2 terms, if each member of the House has only 3 terms. I have submitted an amendment to the Constitution to have this written into the Constitution. And if and when it passes, I will pursue pleasure and happiness. I never said I would follow one side. I'll tell you what, when the socialists and when the swamp is ready to leave D.C., I'll be more than happy to obey the same rules that apply to everyone. And until then, I will continue to fight for 30 million Texans, because they told me to." Therefore, Cruz's opinion seems to be basically locked in its current position due to other decisions in the House and Senate that allowed them to stay in their jobs. Does this list include Mitch McConnell, who has held his Senate position for decades? 10 Republicans voted for Senator Rick Scott, Republican Florida, to replace McConnell as head of the conference among Republicans, although the vote, unlike the last race to become Speaker of the House, leads to secrecy, so it is not known how Cruz voted in the contest. Outside of this, Cruz often has heated fights with various people who challenge his politics, whether in restaurants, on airplanes, or from places of things. Campaign in Texas, where he challenges members of the public to express their distaste for him. His pro-gun approach. This is after the shooting of an elementary school in Uvalde, Texas, where the attacker used a weapon that was legally purchased, which means that different laws could mean that the incident did not happen.